Welcome to our video on 20 endangered birds in the US most affected by climate change. Today, we'll explore the critical challenges faced by these incredible species as their habitats are threatened by rising temperatures, extreme weather, and changing ecosystems. From the majestic California condor to the fascinating Hawaiian honeycreepers, each bird plays a vital role in our environment. Join us as we unveil their stories and the urgent actions needed to protect them from the impacts of climate change. 1. California condor. The California condor, a magnificent bird with a wingspan stretching nearly 10 feet, is one of the most iconic symbols of wildlife conservation. However, its survival is precarious, as rising temperatures and rampant wildfires continue to threaten its already limited habitat. These birds are primarily found in the mountainous regions of California, where they rely on vast expanses of open land and cliffs for nesting and foraging. Unfortunately, the increasing frequency and intensity of wildfires have scorched these landscapes, diminishing their available habitat. As the climate warms, these fires become harder to control, posing an ever-present threat to the condor's survival. The situation is a stark reminder of how interconnected our ecosystems are and how climate change can ripple through them, affecting even the most resilient of species. 2. Red-cockaded woodpecker. The red-cockaded woodpecker is a small, black and white bird with a distinctive red streak on its head. This bird is heavily dependent on old-growth pine forests for its habitat, specifically longleaf pines that are at least 80 years old. Unfortunately, these forests are declining due to hurricanes and droughts, both of which have been exacerbated by climate change. Hurricanes can decimate large swaths of forest, leaving the woodpecker without suitable nesting sites. Meanwhile, droughts weaken the trees, making them more susceptible to pests and diseases. As these pressures increase, the future of the red-cockaded woodpecker becomes increasingly uncertain, highlighting the urgent need for conservation efforts to protect and restore its habitat. 3. Piping plover. The piping plover is a small, sand-colored bird that nests along the Atlantic coast and the Great Lakes. Its survival is intricately tied to these coastal environments, which are now under siege from rising sea levels and stronger storms. As the sea encroaches on the land, the sandy beaches and dunes that the plovers rely on for nesting are disappearing. In addition, more frequent and severe storms can destroy nests and wash away eggs, severely impacting their reproductive success. These challenges are compounded by human activities such as coastal development and recreational beach use, which further reduce the available habitat for these charming birds. The piping plover's plight is a poignant example of how climate change can impact even the smallest and seemingly most resilient creatures. 4. Ivory-billed woodpecker. Often referred to as the Lord God bird, for its striking appearance and rarity, the ivory-billed woodpecker is a critically endangered species, with some fearing it may already be extinct. This bird once thrived in the dense, swampy forests of the southern United States, but habitat loss has been devastating. The destruction of these forests has been worsened by hurricanes and flooding, both of which are becoming more frequent and severe due to climate change. The loss of these crucial habitats has made it nearly impossible for the ivory-billed woodpecker to recover, and sightings of this elusive bird are now extremely rare. The story of the ivory-billed woodpecker serves as a cautionary tale about the irreversible impacts of climate change on biodiversity. 5. Whooping crane. The whooping crane is one of the tallest and most elegant birds in North America, known for its distinctive whooping call. These birds rely heavily on wetland ecosystems for their migratory stopover sites, but these habitats are increasingly threatened by wetland degradation and droughts. As the climate warms, many wetlands are drying up, leaving the cranes with fewer places to rest and refuel during their long migrations. Additionally, human activities such as agriculture and urban development continue to encroach on these vital habitats. Conservation efforts have helped to stabilize the whooping crane population, but the ongoing effects of climate change pose a significant challenge to their long-term survival. 6. Gunnison sage grouse. The Gunnison sage grouse is a fascinating bird known for its elaborate mating displays, where males puff up their chests and fan out their tail feathers in a show of strength and vitality. However, this species is facing a dire situation as its sagebrush habitat is being depleted by rising temperatures and wildfires. Sagebrush ecosystems are particularly vulnerable to climate change, as they require specific conditions to thrive. As temperatures increase and wildfires become more frequent, these habitats are being destroyed, leaving the Gunnison sage-grouse with fewer places to live and breed. The loss of these critical habitats not only threatens the survival of the Gunnison sage-grouse but also impacts the broader ecosystem that relies on sagebrush. 7. Kirtland's warbler. Kirtland's warbler is a small, vibrant yellow bird that relies on young jack pine forests for its breeding habitat. These birds are incredibly selective in their nesting sites, choosing only jack pines that are between 5 and 20 years old. Unfortunately, these forests are under threat from warming temperatures and insect infestations, both of which are exacerbated by climate change. Warmer temperatures allow pests such as the jack pine budworm to thrive, decimating the trees and reducing the available habitat for the warblers. In addition, climate change is affecting the natural fire regimes that these forests depend on for regeneration. Without these fires, new jack pine stands cannot establish, further limiting the available habitat for Kirtland's warbler. 8. Florida scrub jay. The Florida scrub jay is a striking blue and gray bird endemic to the state of Florida, where it inhabits scrubby flatwoods and sand pine scrub. This habitat specialist bird is facing increasing challenges from droughts and urban expansion. Droughts, exacerbated by climate change, are reducing the availability of food and water, making survival more difficult for these birds. Additionally, as Florida's population continues to grow, urban development encroaches on the scrub jay's habitat, fragmenting the landscape and isolating populations. This combination of climate and human pressures is putting the Florida scrub jay at risk, underscoring the need for targeted conservation efforts to preserve its unique habitat. 9. Marbled murrelet. The marbled murrelet is a small seabird that nests in old-growth forests along the Pacific coast. This bird's survival is intricately linked to both its terrestrial and marine environments, both of which are being affected by climate change. Ocean warming is impacting the availability of prey species, while the loss of old-growth forests due to logging and disease reduces the available nesting sites. The marbled murrelet's dual reliance on these ecosystems makes it particularly vulnerable to the effects of climate change, as it faces threats from both land and sea. Conservation efforts must address both aspects of its habitat to ensure the survival of this unique species. 10. Black-capped vireo. The black-capped vireo is a small, colorful bird that relies on specific types of shrubs for nesting. These shrubs, found in the southwestern United States, are decreasing due to heat waves and wildfires, both of which are becoming more frequent and intense due to climate change. As these events destroy the vireo's habitat, the bird faces increasing challenges in finding suitable nesting sites. Additionally, the loss of these shrubs can impact the availability of food and shelter, further threatening the survival of the black-capped vireo. This situation highlights the interconnectedness of ecosystems and the far-reaching impacts of climate change on biodiversity. 11. Yellow-billed cuckoo. The yellow-billed cuckoo is a medium-sized bird known for its distinctive call and preference for riparian, or river-dependent, habitats. These areas are increasingly threatened by extreme droughts, which are becoming more common as the climate changes. Droughts can dry up rivers and streams, destroying the lush vegetation that the cuckoos rely on for nesting and foraging. As these habitats disappear, the yellow-billed cuckoo is forced to compete with other species for limited resources, further straining its survival. This bird's plight serves as a reminder of the delicate balance of ecosystems and the importance of maintaining healthy river systems in the face of climate change. 12. Tricolored blackbird. The tricolored blackbird is a social bird known for its large breeding colonies, which often consist of thousands of individuals. These birds primarily nest in California wetlands, which are experiencing significant declines due to rising temperatures and changes in precipitation patterns. As these wetlands dry up, the blackbirds lose their nesting sites, leading to decreased reproductive success. Additionally, the loss of wetlands can impact the availability of food, further threatening the survival of these birds. Conservation efforts are critical to preserving the remaining wetland habitats and ensuring the future of the tricolored blackbird. 13. Mountain plover. The mountain plover is a small, ground-nesting bird that inhabits the prairie grasslands of the western United States. These grasslands are increasingly threatened by warming temperatures, which can reduce the availability of food and water for the plovers. As the climate changes, the grasslands become more susceptible to drought, leading to a decrease in the insects and plants that the plovers rely on for sustenance. This situation is further compounded by human activities such as agriculture and land development, which continue to encroach on the plover's habitat. The challenges faced by the mountain plover underscore the need for comprehensive conservation strategies that address both climate and human impacts on grassland ecosystems. 14. Western snowy plover. The western snowy plover is a small, pale shorebird that nests on sandy beaches and dunes along the Pacific coast. These areas are under threat from coastal erosion and rising sea levels, both of which are being driven by climate change. As the sea encroaches on the land, the plovers lose their nesting sites, leading to decreased reproductive success. Additionally, human activities such as beach development and recreation can further reduce the availability of habitat for these birds. The western snowy plover's struggle highlights the importance of protecting coastal ecosystems in the face of climate change. 15. Bachman's warbler. Bachman's warbler is a critically endangered bird, with some experts fearing it may already be extinct. This small, yellow and black bird once inhabited the swamps and bottomland forests of the southeastern United States, but habitat loss has been devastating. Climate change has worsened the situation, as rising temperatures and changes in precipitation patterns further reduce the availability of suitable habitat. The loss of these crucial ecosystems has made it nearly impossible for Bachman's warbler to recover, serving as a stark reminder of the irreversible impacts of climate change on biodiversity. 16. Least tern. The least tern is a small, agile bird that nests on sandy beaches and riverbanks. These areas are increasingly threatened by severe storms and flooding, both of which are becoming more frequent and intense due to climate change. As these events destroy nests and wash away eggs, the reproductive success of the least tern is severely impacted. Additionally, human activities such as beach development and disturbance can further reduce the availability of habitat for these birds. The challenges faced by the least tern underscore the importance of protecting and preserving coastal and riverine ecosystems in the face of climate change. 17. Rufous hummingbird. The rufous hummingbird is a small, vibrant bird known for its incredible migratory journeys, traveling thousands of miles each year. However, climate change is affecting the availability of nectar sources along its migratory route, as changing temperatures and precipitation patterns alter flower blooming times. As a result, the hummingbirds may arrive at their feeding sites to find that the flowers have already bloomed and withered, leaving them without the crucial energy source needed for their long journey. This situation highlights the complex and far-reaching impacts of climate change on migratory species and the ecosystems they depend on. 18. Brown pelican. The brown pelican is a large, distinctive bird known for its impressive dives into the ocean to catch fish. These birds rely on stable ocean conditions and healthy fish populations for survival, but climate change is threatening both. Ocean warming and hurricanes are damaging breeding colonies, making it difficult for the pelicans to raise their young. Additionally, changes in ocean temperatures can impact the availability of prey species, further threatening the survival of these birds. The challenges faced by the brown pelican underscore the importance of addressing climate change impacts on marine ecosystems. 19. Sprague's pipit. Sprague's pipit is a small, ground-dwelling bird that inhabits the grasslands of the northern Great Plains. These grasslands are increasingly threatened by degradation due to drought, which is becoming more common as the climate changes. As these ecosystems dry up, the pipits lose their breeding sites and food sources, leading to decreased reproductive success. Additionally, human activities such as agriculture and land development continue to encroach on the grassland habitat, further threatening the survival of Sprague's pipit. This bird's plight highlights the interconnectedness of ecosystems and the far-reaching impacts of climate change on biodiversity. 20. Hawaiian honeycreepers, multiple species. Hawaiian honeycreepers are a diverse group of birds known for their vibrant colors and unique adaptations to the Hawaiian Islands. However, these birds are facing increasing threats from climate change, as rising temperatures allow mosquitoes carrying avian malaria to invade their habitats. These diseases can decimate honeycreeper populations, leading to severe declines in numbers. Additionally, habitat loss due to deforestation and invasive species further threatens the survival of these birds. The challenges faced by Hawaiian honeycreepers underscore the importance of addressing climate change impacts on island ecosystems and the unique species that inhabit them.